All right. Welcome to AI Unplugged, the AI Mastermind. Today we have a guest, Cahill Camden, and he has a couple of AI products that are really cool. There's one that we've been using for over a year now called Press Jockey, and there's a new one. Is that going to be, is that out for public
It
consumption now?
it is out for public consumption,
Okay.
still in alpha. So we'll talk about that at the end, but it's in alpha. We just opened it up literally yesterday. So yeah,
Okay, excellent. And Cahill is fantastic at getting press and helping companies grow as a fractional professional. And I'll just let you take it from here and share with everybody about Press Jockey and about your new projects as well.
sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for having me on again, Nicole, and everyone. I appreciate it. Um, so the let's start with the new AI tool that we've been working on, which is all about podcasting. But before I get there, I want to find out if everyone is familiar with the growth of the podcast industry and why you'd even want to be on podcasts. Yes, no, kind of. Okay,
How much has
awesome.
it grown? Yeah, I'm not really aware of
Okay,
the
so
growth.
let me share. I'll share something with you. I've been putting together something that I haven't really shown to anyone else. I like to do this sometimes with Nicole and the fantastic team, is give the insider insights, secrets about things that we're working on that will eventually, become, paid products and whatnot. Anyways, this is what I've been working on is an entire course around podcasting and how to get on podcasts. But let me share it with you today, right? So one of the things that I think we have to understand is there's benefits to being in press and also benefits to being in on podcasts. They are very similar. You get SEO ranking, build brand exposure, build trust and social proof, but you also get some different aspects that are quite valuable, such as the ability to tell deep stories and to have a deep story connection, and the ability to leverage your podcasts in or your podcast appearances into other areas such as webinars, virtual events, live events, etc. So these are some of the differences that I think it's important to know. Um, if we actually go back, what is podcast? And then it changed when the iPod came out. So there's some interesting notes. I had no idea that podcasting was actually an idea of iPod and broadcasting, and that's how podcasting came to be. But here's the growth and the trends over the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years. In 2019, we were approximately, here you can see the numbers here, approximately 274 million listeners. And in 2024, it's almost double the amount. So that is a huge, huge amount of growth. And you can just see it's been constantly going up and to the right. And this is a very, very steady growth pattern over the last 4 or 5 years. Now, this represents, as we're all thinking, opportunity for your business, opportunity for your brand, opportunity for more sales, more traffic. It is here. Okay. When you think about this in comparison to other types of advertising or other types of brand awareness, podcasting is on the up and up. It's a fantastic direction to go in. And when we look at the actual listeners per country, we can actually see that United States has 40% of monthly listeners, but you can see all the other countries that are actually rapidly coming up. So I think this is just interesting to know that it's not just the United States that has opportunity. There is global opportunity, and as we'll see in this chart, the growth in other areas is huge. So, Mexico, almost 50% growth, China, Chile, Argentina, and there's a whole list of these countries, but there's really fast double-digit growth around the world for podcasts. Okay? So huge, huge opportunity here. Um, we've talked a little bit about why it pays to be a podcast guest, and here's just something that I like to show. Regardless of whether you listen to these people or not, if you land on any one of these top podcasts in the world, your products instantly sell out. Like Tim Ferriss will announce something, and within hours, like millions of dollars will be sold, products will sell out, and your business will change overnight or within a couple hours. So it's a very important platform to be on. Okay? Now, the challenge with getting on podcasts is just like any type of brand awareness or any type of campaign that you do, it takes time. Like you've got to find podcasts, you've got to find the right podcast, you've got to pitch them, you've got to build your bio, you've got to do all these things, unless you use a tool like the one I'm about to show you. And so this is where we
Can I
decided, yeah,
can
jump
I
in.
ask you a question before you log in?
Yeah.
When do you feel like it switched over to that? Because I still see people asking for guests, and there has always been that outreach for guests. When do you feel like it switched over to the people wanting to be guests being the people that are looking instead of the people putting on the podcasts being the ones looking for guests? When do you feel like
Great
that
question.
shift
Yeah.
happened?
I don't think that shift is over yet. So I think there's opportunity on both sides, actually. I'll show you in a second. And to your point, Andrea, they're like new podcasts are always looking for great guests. Like they're starting out, they don't have necessarily the credibility or pull that some of the larger podcasts would, obviously. And so they're looking for great people to help them get their message out or build their podcast, but also allow the guests to get their message out. So there are tons, thousands of podcasts, literally thousands of podcasts that are looking for great guests. So to that note, we created this. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, so we created this totally free. You can sign up at any point in time. And the idea here is just like help a reporter. You sign up to help a podcaster out. And when we launch it, probably in a couple of weeks, podcasters who are looking for guests will post here and that will go out to your email and you can just apply to whichever ones you want. That makes sense for your business. Naturally, Press Jockey users get this included into their package, but this is here for you. Okay? But Andrew, to your point, this is the side of podcasts looking for guests. This still happens. There are literally dozens and dozens of Facebook groups that you can go on where everyone's looking for guests, requesting things, and then you have to really manually filter through which podcasts you want to try and be on, and which ones don't make really the best sense for you. So it's totally up to you. The other side of this is you building a campaign and reaching out to podcasts. This is where we've done a lot of work with the Web3 type of companies, tech companies, in terms of reaching out to podcasts and pitching clients, founders, CEOs, et cetera, to get onto podcasts. And this is I think really, really powerful. So yes, you want to be on, getting guest requests. But most of the time, those podcasts are going to be smaller. Again, great way to start. I still do it. And so, I will still respond to those. But when you build an actual campaign, you have much more control. The problem is, as we saw the growth of podcasts, there are over 4 million podcasts to search through and find. There's, I'm forgetting the numbers, but I believe that there's something close to 10,000 episodes come out every day. And so, how are you going to sort through that? Well, you sort through it with AI. Okay, so this is the tool that we built. So what we built is an AI-powered podcast database. Okay. The first thing that you can do, I'm just going to go here and show you, is when you come in, you'll be able to leverage the bio creation. And so the bio creation is going to actually look across the web. It's going to find different aspects about you, put it together into a bio, and then the AI is going to read your bio, look through our database of podcasts and all the relevant podcasts that have come out in the last couple of weeks, and it's going to recommend podcasts that you should pitch. So really, really easy. You literally type in your name. I'll show you right now. Okay, I can hit generate bio. Now, I can use the search or I can put in my own links if I want to put in links. I can add my LinkedIn, etc. So this, if you have more of a common name, you can do this. But I'm going to hit search. I'm going to keep the bio long, and I'm going to hit generate bio. Now, this is searching the web, so it's pulling in multiple links, and it's going to start to write my bio for me. And as this is actually all accurate, Press Jockey, Digital Vision, etc. As this is writing, the what we're doing in a week is the AI is going to be reading reading this, and then searching through our database to find you podcasts that you can instantly pitch. Now, if you just hit save, that gets saved to your bio. And now when you start to search for podcasts and you start to generate pitches, which the AI will do, it's going to read this bio and it's going to apply this bio to your pitch so that you have a fantastic auto draft. Okay, so again, very quick, very easy. I can generate a short bio like this and it will rewrite it and it will search the web again and it will generate a much smaller bio that I can then, copy and paste. So this is the first step of it. If I hit save, it will start to do all the rest. But the search is where things get interesting. Someone want to give me a topic. It can be any language, it can be any country, it can be anything. And because it's AI, by the way, it can respond in any language, it can respond in any for any country. So we have someone, for example, who's out in Hong Kong, and he's using it to not only get opportunities in the United States, but he also uses it for Chinese-based media, and it will write in Chinese, like no problem. So, any topics?
How about AI?
AI. Okay,
Literally,
let's
that's
do it.
all. First of all, I am your complete test case here because all I used to do was listen to music when I would go out for walks and in the car because I'm a huge music junkie. And I realized today that every single time I get in the car now, because my phone connects to the car, immediately I'm turning on a podcast. Immediately.
Right.
And all I've been searching for lately is AI podcasts. So
There you
it's
go.
fascinating. Yeah, this is like very
Well,
fascinating.
and so you can understand the power of it, right? Like you're constantly listening to it. Most people, about I think it's like 60% of people listen to podcasts when they're doing something else, but you're constantly hearing that authority, that thought leadership voice in your mind. And when you start to listen to it, it really starts to shift your perspectives on things, and it has a lot of brand value, a lot of impact. But let's search for AI and see what we come up with. So this is searching through tens of thousands of episodes, well, actually millions of episodes, millions of podcasts, and it will pull up the most recent ones. Okay. So now you'll notice something here. We do provide emails and we are enriching the emails. That is something that is coming. We will be providing also social media links. So your ability to connect with podcasters goes through the roof. You don't have to search for this yourself. Now you can see this came out today, May 8th, right? And so you can see the quick description. This is CNBC. You can see the different types of podcasts that are coming out that are talking about AI. Yeah, so machine learning, AI, data engineering as it relates to search engine results page and SEO. Okay? So now down here you have your emojis, which are essentially the different types of AI prompts that you can create. And all you have to do is hit create response. It will read this entire description. It's going to read my bio, and then it's going to write a response, a draft that you can then quickly edit. And then you can, right now, copy the pitch, paste it in your email, but down the road, it will just be sent. And so as you can see, love the recent episode with Ray on optimize Google's algorithmic changes, et cetera. So it's reading this whole description. And then it's also giving you ideas for different topics that you can pitch this podcaster. You know, so here are a couple of angles we could look into. The future of SEO with AI and machine learning, blah blah blah. How behavior metrics as SEO gold, holistic SEO monitoring. Now you can go in and edit these if these are not exactly aligned to you. But the idea here is you can quickly find things that are relevant to your brand, to your direction, you can quickly generate a draft response, and then you can quickly pitch this podcaster. And again, you can really amplify what you're trying to do with AI. I always say, and I know Nicole probably says, Nicole has said similar things, just as the whole team has. AI is not necessarily a replacement, it's an enhancer to what you're doing. And so if you can use it to enhance your efficiency, enhance your productivity, enhance your output and your results, that's where it really gets a lot of power. So again, don't think of this as, oh, hey, I'm just going to press a button and it's totally done. No, you still need to put a bit of work into it. But instead of spending hours, you can do this in literally 30 seconds, right? And so this is what the 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 entire Echo Jockey tool is all about. Now we can search by all sorts of genres, countries. We can, see lots of different types of AI. There's a lot, it seems like, on SEO recently because there's been some very big SEO updates. Um, but you can add prompts. So this is, again, our first prompt. You can see what it is. You can add your own prompts so you can tweak it how you want. You can see different insights. Down the road, we're launching insights because we have millions of podcast episodes. And then there's other things like auto draft that we're working on so that when you set alerts for AI, or if you wanted to set an alert, Nicole, for a specific company that you follow or that is on great podcasts, you can set an alert, and then whenever we're we pull new podcasts every 24, 48 hours. So every time a new podcast comes out that mentions that brand or even your own brand or something like that, it will pop up and you'll see it. So again, this becomes your assistant for podcast campaigns and for getting onto more podcasts very quickly. There's a whole roadmap of upgrades that we're doing in terms of like the Echo score, which is an algorithm that we're building right now to help you gauge approximately how popular a podcast is, because those numbers are quite hard to get. And it's all just ballparks right now. So those types of things are coming soon. But this is what this entire database is like. And it really just helps you quickly get on podcasts and quickly pitch podcasts for any brand, any industry, any niche. And so
Andrea,
this is the tool. Yeah.
sorry, Andrea, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a couple questions
Yeah,
actually.
jump in, jump in.
Surprise.
That's great.
My first question is, so we saw in there the pitch, the response, all of that, but the system itself doesn't capture or track the emails you send. So what you would do is then copy that and then send it from your own inbox. Is that
For
what you
now,
do?
alpha. Yeah. So
Okay.
remember that everything that I'm showing you is alpha. Like
Yeah.
we've been, fiercely working on this because it's an awesome idea and project, but it is still an alpha, not even beta yet. So what you're talking about, Andrea, is something that we're going to be integrating in the next month or two, which is
Okay.
that email connection. So you just hit reply, but for now you just copy the email, copy the pitch, and paste it into
Okay.
your
So
email.
the
And yeah,
intention
yeah,
is for it to be that, just like it is
correct,
with Press Jockey, where you can
correct.
see who you've connected with. And which leads me to my next question. If you're using Press Jockey, will this be an extension of that, or would this be a totally separate entity of that?
Great question. This is a totally separate entity. So we've got the press side of things, which deals with, help a reporter, quoted source bottle, connectively, the new help every reporter, help a podcaster, help a B2B writer.
Mhm.
All of those platforms go to Press Jockey because it's more traditional press exposure.
Okay.
So that's separate from the podcasts. And let's think about this as, podcasts for now, but it will eventually become streaming. So anything
Mm,
related to podcasts, live streams on YouTube, AMAs or Ask Me Anythings, webinars, this is what this is all about. It's like the future type of media exposure.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is really even at this beginning stages, it feels very easy to navigate and clean. So I appreciate that, and I really like the way that it built the bio, which is my other question. Can you have multiple personalities? So, if you are an expert in different things, or, maybe you really like fitness, but you also can talk about AI or whatever it is, how do you manage that?
Great question. Right now, the bios are single use only. You can create a new bio by dropping in links, but we don't have an agency type of setup yet or a multiple bio setup. So this is actually a great feature request that we can incorporate into the roadmap if there's, enough interest for it. One of the things that this does bring up, which I think is important that we're in the process of actually developing is the idea of campaigns. So to your point, if you wanted to do a campaign related to AI, but you also wanted to do a campaign related to, technology or apps that's similar, but it's actually different, um, we're integrating into this database. This is going to actually look different next week. We've been working on something that shows you the image and allows you to actually select, kind of like Press Jockey, you can select each one of these types of episodes and you can add them to a campaign. So I'd be
Mm.
able to select let's say these top three, um, you know, episodes, add them to the AI campaign, and then it would write a whole bunch of AI pitches, and then I can add others to a different type of campaign that would write those types of messages as well. But that's on the roadmap, and so would the different profiles be.
And is the idea with that in case you really want to get on Tim Ferriss, so you adjust your profiles so that he would be more likely to have you on his podcast, like yeah, I could see it going both ways. So
Yeah.
interesting.
The, the Tim Ferriss podcast is, I think, probably out of the range for most of us. Um, but you never know. Never
Never
know.
say never, Cahill.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, so this is Echo Jockey, and this is what we're working on right now. We've had fantastic, feedback and insights, and a lot of people who are interested and who actually have signed up to the alpha to get started on it. Because I think that what we're seeing with, the difference between corporate or traditional media and new media is that you mentioned Tim Ferriss. As you could see on the quick couple slides, we had Joe Rogan. Everyone knows who he is, regardless of whether you listen to him or not. But I saw a statistic recently that Joe Rogan's audience for every single episode that he has eclipses CNBC, CNN, Fox News. I think there was another one as well, another one or two. All of those media stations combined, Joe Rogan's podcast gets 40% more listeners than all of them combined. And so we can see that there's really a big shift. As I believe it was Sari said, um, she's listening to podcasts all the time. I listen to podcasts all the time. We're constantly trying to educate ourselves with thought leaders and insightful perspectives from people who own brands. And that is fantastic for all of us as business owners and as leaders is be able to leverage that new type of media and get into the ears and the minds of our customers. So that's Echo Jockey. Um, any questions, ideas, comments, anything about it at all?
I just have a comment, and this is the same for Press Jockey, is that with AI content being so much easier to create when you have text and images, the inbound links that you get from things like podcasts and press are going to become more and more important. And we've started doing more press releases and press outreach for ourselves and for our clients because we know that we need to start that link building now so that we stay where we are and continue to gain ground as everybody is becoming to be on a more even playing field with producing SEO content. And so like that's why we keep having you here is that this is something that's so, so important for everybody to know is these inbound links, the exposure on podcasts, but also from the press are really important. And if you get good at this, get good at getting the press, then it's going to help you maintain. And smaller companies can get ahead of the bigger companies if they start implementing these strategies too. So I want to go on these AI podcasts and talk about SEO from that perspective too.
Absolutely. And Nicole, you bring up a good point. If we let's think about the future, this is kind of more something that I've been thinking about over the last 6, 7 months, which is one of the reasons why we did this. To your point, Nicole, I think that you are 100% right. And if you actually look at what is happening with Google right now, Google's freaking out about the fact that people are not going to Google as much. They're turning to ChatGPT to ask questions. And that means in a world where let's advance that and fast forward 2 to 5 years ahead, people are not going to be going to Google to search through 10 different links that are mostly AI generated anyways. They're going to go to a chat bot to ask questions and get answers. Now, there are scary consequences from that. But the point is, the links that you get on Google may not be as relevant as much. And so then if we're in that type of world, let's say 3, 4, 5 years from now, where people turn to chatbots to get answers, well, where's the human connection? The human connection is going to be on streaming services. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on podcasts. And that's how people are going to connect with other people in terms of, hey, I've listened to Nicole on 10 different episodes. I trust her. I don't necessarily trust the results on Google anymore 4 years from now because it's all AI generated anyways. But I've heard Nicole speak about many different topics. I heard her story, her perspective, and I want to work with her. And that's the type of, I think, future that we're going to see more and more. And so this is, again, one of the reasons why I wanted to create a database where you can start to quickly find the podcast that you want to be on and start now and get on a number of podcasts. And to Andrew's point, build your way up to that Tim Ferriss level. And then you're going to have a ton of trust in the market and an ability to connect with your audience.
Again, I am your complete test case here. Today, I had something I was looking for in particular, and I literally had this moment where I almost, as I usually always just pull up Google, and I had this moment where I paused and I went, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT instead.
100%.
Because in my brain, I was like, ChatGPT is literally just aggregating all the data that is going to be presented to me in a more efficient and eloquent way. And so I like remember like in my brain making that decision to not go to Google and to go to ChatGPT. So you
That's
speak
that
the
that's
truth, my
exactly
friend.
yeah.
You speak the
That
truth.
that's exactly right. And funny that you say that today. I almost had the exact same experience. I went to Google instead because I was like, oh, let me do a bit of digging. But that shift in our minds and our habits is already happening. It's like and you can actually see this if you look at YouTube charts and YouTube trends. People turn to YouTube for a lot of answers on how to do things, like give me information. So they're looking already for live connection, essentially humans, to give them quick insights. And that's when I was thinking I was trying to solve a problem. And instead of going to ChatGPT, I said, oh, let me just go to YouTube instead, and I'll just search on YouTube. But as ChatGPT or AI starts to incorporate that, I'll just turn to AI. And so this is the future. This is where we're going. And again, you can just look at Google's last 3, 4 months, and you can see, I think Sundar, who's the Google CEO, just in the last week told Google employees that in an all hands that they needed to not expect an easy path moving forward and that things were going to, like, they needed to start innovating because they're going to lose their footing on to a certain extent. And it may be slow at first, but then it will be very fast. For us, this presents an opportunity. Get on podcasts now, get on YouTube shows now, start doing live streaming, just like Nicole. Like Nicole's ahead of the curve, and so is the whole team. Here at the whole team is like on streaming platforms, YouTube live streaming right now, Zoom that's recorded, people, humans connecting with humans, and this is what helps us all get ahead. So, here's a tool that can help you do that, and take Nicole and the team's lead on how she's accelerating her business as well, right?
Yeah, that's funny because I think that Google did miss a moment because now Gemini, if you try Gemini, Gemini is so much more powerful than ChatGPT, and it's going to be built into search, and it is. And I think we're still going to have that. And Google needs to do a lot more press. They need to get a lot more press to outshout ChatGPT at this point because their engine is more powerful than ChatGPT's, but they didn't get out of the gate fast enough. And this is a perfect example of a smaller company. I mean, yeah, they're really well funded, but still a smaller company, really impacting a behemoth.
Right. And to your point, Nicole, like they did have quite a big blunder where they searched for founding fathers, and they had that whole debacle. Um, so
Yeah.
there are some issues, but when we think about how much data Google has, it's like they could be very powerful in this. But even still, even if we start using Google for AI, you're still eliminating those search results to a certain extent because you're trying to surface an answer to a very specific question without having to spend the time looking through links and seeing ads. So this
Mhm.
threatens Google's business because now
Yeah.
you just get an answer. Okay, well, people are also going to look to other people to get an answer because we've already seen AI make stuff up, AI lies, AI changes facts. It's not always super accurate. And so people will turn to people for that trust. And that is podcasts, YouTube, streaming, webinars, all these types of events.
Yeah, I think there's two things. I want to say something about using GPT or really any of the tools to ask questions. The thing is, there's tens, hundreds of thousands of these new tools. Regardless if you're calling them AI or search or whatever they are, people are going to use them in the ways that they have figured out they can use them, regardless if that's what they're supposed to be used for. And that's the danger of them. And so even if GPT isn't meant for a search tool because it's not, people are going to use it as such. And if you are deeply involved in AI and you know what the tools are used for, you will know where to stay for each task. But in the world of everyone, and you've got Google and you've got Claude and you've got GPT and you've got all these other things, they're all tools. So people don't know which one to go to that's going to not hallucinate or not make things up, or this one's going to be right or wrong. So I think there's that issue. I also think that the whole podcast journey is really interesting because not only was it affected by AI in recent times, but it was super affected by COVID and the amount of human connection needed during that time. So it has seen two huge um, growth, just when nobody could go anywhere and they needed to see people, like what did they do? They got onto podcasts or they needed to find something. So podcasts has seen what that's the last what 4 years, 3 years has gone through COVID and now AI. This is like a whole new world for podcasts in that little bit of time. So it's pretty interesting to see what this will even develop into. It's kind of like where music went when we started to have things like Napster and like in the streaming and all of that. It's going to be interesting to see where the podcasts go with all of this, but it's an interesting time for sure.
Absolutely. And podcast is the thing that we all know. And there's also live streams as we turned on today. That's going to become more prominent as AI video comes out and AI voice replication starts to come out. Live streams are going to become more important. There's live webinars, there's live virtual events and conferences. Like people are going to seek out human connection in an increasingly AI world
Hmm.
for their answers, for their trust, for their thought leadership. I just think that that's the direction we are going in, whether we like it or not. And so I wanted to build tools to be able to help SMBs get there and leverage that future.
Yeah, this is great. I'm excited
Yeah.
to try this out because this is the thing that we are doing all the time is talking and having these groups, and this is definitely something we will be using.
I'm wondering why I'm not on more podcasts. So now
You can get on more podcasts with a tool like
I'm an
Echo Jockey.
amazing guest. Why am I not on more podcasts? Now I'm going to get on more podcasts.
Nicole's referral, we'll give you a bit of a discount and
Okay. I love it.
absolutely. So, any other questions or ideas, concepts that anyone wants to talk about this?
Are people able to sign up for Echo Jockey now?
They are, yes. So
Okay.
you're able to sign up. You got to go to app.echojockey.com. We don't have a www.echojockey. The main page is not up yet. We want you to be in the app right away. So you can go to app.echojockey.com. There is a free plan that you can use. It is limited to a couple of pitches a month and a couple of searches a day because these searches do pull a ton of AI power. And so, without getting too technical, the database upgrades that we're doing here with, again, 4 million podcasts, tens of millions of episodes, and thousands, tens of thousands of episodes every week, it is very heavy. And so, you can use it for free. You get a couple pitches a month. So it's just for you to really play around and see what it's all about. But there is alpha pricing right now, and that is about 65-70% off. And then if you want to sign up, and we'll make sure Nicole has a special code, and you can use that, and we'll give you a bit of money off as well. So
Great. So what you're saying is now is the time to sign up while we're
now is
in
the time, yeah.
the alpha pricing.
Well, exactly. You get the alpha pricing, and then you get the additional discount that we'll give. And we're in alpha, so there's updates coming out every single couple of days. Um,
Yeah.
but
And
you're
we
in
can
in
vouch for
early.
that too,
Yeah,
because we've seen the evolution of Press Jockey and how far that has come.
yeah.
So, which is really amazing. Have you, the people that have joined us today, have you guys seen Press Jockey before? Is that something we can do a quick little um, review of that too?
Sure. If you want to do a quick review of that, this is Press Jockey. Um, so remember, we just talked about podcasts and the podcast landscape. What Press Jockey does is it focuses more on the corporate media, traditional media. So publications, newspapers, blogs, those types of things. Now, Press Jockey is really, really fantastic if you're using other platforms that get requests for experts, and they get requests for experts from journalists and authors, bloggers, etc. So what happens on these other platforms is someone will post a request saying, "Hey, I'm on a deadline. It's Wednesday, May 8th. I've got to get this out by, Friday the 10th, and I'm looking for an expert on AI who has talked at a couple of events, who is deep in the space to answer a couple of questions." You respond to those requests, and then if you're selected by the journalist, they may interview, they may use your insights, and then you will often get a backlink for that. Even if you don't get a backlink, you still get placed in that article, and so then you can say, "Hey, I was quoted or featured in this article about AI and the future of streaming." And so this is the agency style account. So it gives you multiple brands that you can work with. Each brand can have its own, to Andrea's question before, each brand can have its own profile, its own AI prompts, its own keywords. It's completely a separate entity. which means you can filter through different requests and pitch differently. So if I jump into my agency workspace, you'll see right away up here, there's been, in this month alone, there's been 1,500 requests. There's only actually 900 unique ones. So none of the platforms actually tell you that there's duplicates, but there are a lot of duplicates, which waste your time because then you have to look through all the duplicates, and that sucks. And so out of all the unique ones, I've got about 10% matches based on my keywords, so about 83 matches. And you can see them down here. We've got quoted, we've got, if I keep going, you've got Source Bottle, you've got the different platforms that I'm a part of, Connectively, etc. And so what will happen is you'll see some of the platforms they only give you a tiny little bit of content. And that's because they want you to reply on their platform. And so this is happening more and more. But you can use the Press Jockey Copilot extension to go onto the platform and use the AI and reply. And so we're actually just in an upgrade here by integrating the Copilot extension into Press Jockey. So you can just use the same login account. We initially, about 9 months ago, separated them, or 8 months ago, separated them. But we're going to integrate them so it's just an easier user experience. And so you can see here, you've got domain rank, estimated traffic, link type that you'd get from something like HubSpot. And then if you go on to the actual site, you will be able to generate a response. And so here's what the responses look like. I just jumped through it very quickly, but here's my auto response. And so you can see the AI this is a couple months ago, but has picked up a number of different expert requests, and then it has pre-written a response for me, a draft response that I can come in here and edit, and then I can quickly hit reply. I can attach files. I can create a brand new response if I wanted to. Just delete this and hit create response, and it's going to read this. It's going to read my bio, and it's going to draft a response for me. And so now I can actually come in here and make an edit, and do whatever I need to do. That's Press Jockey in a nutshell. We do help you get connected to different platforms, and there are a couple new platforms, like I had shared. Help a Podcaster out. There's Help Every Reporter out that just started sending responses this week. So that will be integrated into the platform, and we get you signed up to those free platforms you can get signed up to. And this again helps you get on traditional media, like publications and blogs, etc. So that's what the Press Jockey experience is all about.
And that new Copilot takes care of the issue of like we have had with Quoted, where you have to go on to Quoted and create an account, respond through them, doing
Correct.
all of that.
So
Okay,
here,
that's great.
I'll show you what it looks like. Let's find one.
Because I know Shonda has been doing a bunch of responses, and that's one of the things that I've heard her talk about.
Yeah. So if we go here, for example, okay, so you can see this is on the platform. And let me see if I'm logged in here. Yeah. Can you see the extension? I don't know okay, I gotta sign in.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I've got to sign into it, and now I can actually just hit refresh, and it will load the extension. So the extension works just like Press Jockey. You've got different prompts that you can create. And again, if I hit this plus button, I can come in here and create my prompts, so you can see the different types of prompts that I've got right now. They're quite long prompts. As you can see, you can add your own, and then just save an emoji, and it will show up in this line here. And so the way the Copilot extension works, it works for any website. So not just these sites, any website. And so what you can do is you click on Dynamic Learn, which will tell the AI what it should be watching for. And as you can see, it starts to give you this type of purple highlight around different elements of the site. And so I can click on this, and this, and you see it will say, you've selected 550 characters. If I can keep clicking on things if I want to, but if I don't want to, I just hit back. And now if I click generate, the next click that I do on any text box will generate a response with this text. So the AI is going to read this text. It's going to go to my Press Jockey account, read my bio, and then it's going to create a response. So right now I can scroll around the website. You see these things have been highlighted. Let's generate a response. I click generate, and now select the text field where you want to generate a response. And so I want to generate it down here. I click, and it's going to read this text, send it over to Press Jockey. It's going to read my bio, and then it's going to start creating a response. Okay, so this is the process that it goes through, as you can see here. And so you can see it generates a response directly here. Now, again, I can come in here and edit it quickly and then hit submit. So it's very, very, very fast.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great.
Let's look at that again, because I know that there's a couple of clicks that you have to do to get through it. Okay, so let's close this and we'll take a
Also,
look. Yeah.
I want to say to the people that haven't used Press Jockey that you could compare this to when you're on LinkedIn and you're looking for jobs and you can apply to the job through LinkedIn and just hit the button, or you have to go to their website and type in your entire work history. This is the difference. So on all of these other ones where you used to have to like go to this other website and do it all manually, now this extension is allowing you to have that AI follow you to these outside sources.
Yeah. Let's see if there's an actual good one that we can include. Okay, it's summary details. Again, click dynamic learn. We can select anything on here. So click here, click here, click here. I go back, hit the generate button, and come down to where I want to generate my response. Click once, and it's going to read this information. It's going to read my bio, and it's going to generate a response. This works on any website. So you can start to unlock the potential of, oh, I can actually go to a blog, click on a bunch of information from the blog post with the dynamic learn, and you can actually lock it. So that means you can go to a different tab. So if I clicked on a number of paragraphs on a blog, I can lock this, go to my email, click generate response, and then it will generate a response using that blog information from a different tab. So this extension is quite powerful. You can change the AI models. You can view your profile links, and you can also see some tips here. But this is what this extension allows you to do. Click on any website with dynamic learn. You can send that information to the AI, and then you can click generate, and it will generate a response. Okay, so this is how to do it.
Cool.
Cool.
AI assisted ways of finding press, but also getting it by
Yeah.
having it write those responses for you, which I don't think you mentioned, but has been on previous sessions that we've done, is the actual responses that are generated are responses that have been tested and proven to get picked up. It's not just a response, it's responses that actually work and have been known to get responses and
Right.
get picked up. Like there's a whole database of learning based on that is built into the Press Jockey system, which I imagine also is, being learned by the Echo Jockey system. So,
That's exactly where we're headed. Now,
yeah.
I do encourage everyone to leverage your insights that you've learned from here, from our group right here, because those insights that you've learned about prompt engineering, about leveraging AI to give you a response that matches your vocal tone and your style, all of those insights, again, we're giving you the tools to leverage it, but the AI can be tuned to your likings, to your brand, to your style. And I do encourage you to do that. To Andrea's point, we've done some testing on this, obviously, but you might have a different perspective, which is totally fine. So you should do your own testing as well, and you should tweak the AI prompts so that you get something that you really love. because you've got to feel comfortable with it, right? And so that power is there for you, that ability is there for you, or you can just leverage our prompt library and get started quickly. So you can go both directions. Any questions
So
about
good. I
either?
just went to the app.echojockey.com and it's not coming up.
Okay.
But if you do have a link for everyone, we definitely want to pass that out. And,
Yeah,
with anything new, there are these hiccups.
Didn't
I
we
got
can
in.
make
I got in
that didn't
okay.
work?
you
Yeah,
got
it
in.
worked for
CBS
me.
app.
Yeah.
I just put it in the chat.
Okay. Did you do it to the Read AI or to everyone?
Oh, my bad. Did that to read
It's
AI.
okay.
Yeah.
That's the first one that comes up, so everybody does it.
Yep.
It's okay.
There we go. I
Yeah.
send it to everyone.
Okay. Awesome.
In bold red letters. It's like direct message. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, here, let me just put it in quickly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Any other questions or comments for Cahill while he's here? We really appreciate you coming today and showing us this. I can't wait to get started with it.
Thanks for having me on. And for anyone who wants to sign up, Nicole and the team, I will send you a special offer, and it will give people a little bit of an extra discount on what we've got now. And so you can get started on the alpha, and you can start pitching podcasts and start building your brand. Now, again, remember, we're in alpha, so you're getting really cutting edge insights and access to things. So we're constantly making updates, and we're looking for any type of feedback to help us make this an awesome product for you. It's ultimately what it's about.
Excellent. Thank you. Just a quick reminder, we have our next applied AI course coming up, and it starts May 21st, and it's a 10-week cohort. And then next week on our applied AI mastermind, we have Jasper on, and we've got Kaylin from Jasper who's going to talk about, Andrea, what's she talking about next week? I can't
Um,
remember.
I think she's going to lead us through some more use cases, but also I think, well, we've got a couple of ideas, so we haven't fully
Okay.
decided. So it's going to be good no matter what. But the idea is to give people some takeaways so that after the mastermind, they can go off and they'll have something that they can apply to whatever it is they're doing. And what we talked about today with Echo Jockey and a little bit of Press Jockey is also something that we offer as a bonus in the course. So, Jasper is also something we teach during the course with brand story and creating content. And so just building on that.
Yeah, and Jasper, if you don't know, is a tool to write copy. And Jasper's built on 12 different LLMs and has a knowledge base. It stores multiple voices, and it's really built to be a robust enterprise product. And since last year, they've made so many improvements, but we've been using Jasper since early 2021. And they have evolved so much in the last year and what we can do. And um, so we want to show people this and also what the API can do because it's really next level and it's something that's going to transform what's happening with ecom. And we'll talk about that probably a little bit more in a different mastermind. It's an advanced topic.
Mhm.
But it's really cool to see what brands like Adidas are doing on their ecom, and to get a peek into some of the things that are coming. They're going to be coming available to smaller brands as well, because that's one thing that AI has really helped with. It has leveled the playing field. If smaller brands can adopt these things, then they can compete with the big guys. And that's something that I love. Like our goal here, our mission is to make AI accessible.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be something expensive or hard to do. We want everybody to be able to use it and leverage it. And especially those, the little guys, the little
Mhm.
guys that are trying to get ahead. And, little can can be different in different contexts. It little was OpenAI and it's pretty big now, but it's still little compared to Google. And there's some of these other companies, like you just see these examples of somebody being able to do so much more. When I had my first company, I paid a good $200,000 one year for technology upgrades that now, I don't know, maybe it would cost me 50,000. And it's it's so cool what you can do with AI and how many less people or how much more work you can take on with the same staff. And so this summer, we're going to be doing a free summer school for university students and recent college grads. And it came from a conversation I had with a kid when I was checking out at Lululemon. And he said he was a junior in the marketing department at the university by where I live. And his professors have strictly prohibited the use of AI. And his friends who are in science, they prohibited the use of AI. And so I said, hey, here's my contact information. Give it to all your friends, and you can come to class for free. And so we are offering this free summer AI program for students and recent grads in business entrepreneurship and marketing because we know that they need to be AI powered to be competitive in the market. And I think Cahill, we'll probably talk to you about this a little bit more, because we'd love to have your involvement in it too. And we've got some Jasper's one of the sponsors of the course, and Gamma also. And we have the Gamma CEO coming on to the mastermind in 2 weeks. And I love Gamma and use it all the time also. Um, but I think that there's this huge tide and huge wave that all the kids need to learn how to ride to be able to be successful. And so from that conversation with the guy who, was at Lululemon, we decided to do a program and offer it broadly. So if you have any kids in your life, college students, recent grads, out of work marketers, let us know. You can go to the website, fill out the application, and we'll put that. So if anybody's watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the notes. We'll put the application in the notes and just apply. Whether you think you're going to get in or not, just apply. But we really want to help young people know how to use AI safely and to really help them be competitive in the job market.
Yeah, because I think it's just a gap, right? Because colleges aren't and how could they be prepared for the use of AI at school right now, right? Because it came right in the middle of it. So they aren't prepared. They don't know what rules should be in place. So they just said no. And that's going to do these people a disservice. And so that's where we wanted to come in and help because they will be behind or without the skills they need to get a quality job now because we all need to know it. And so that's why we want to do the summer program. So yeah, share it with other people. I'll post it in any groups. Like it's everybody's welcome, and we want to open it up to as many people as we can because we want to, do what we can to help in this area.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. It was a great addition. Cahill,
Mhm.
thank you for showing us Echo Jockey. We're going to be all over that.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Thank you,
Take
everyone.
care, everyone.